Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This is another of my short stories from the next book I'm working on now called My Toupee. I didn't want to go. After all, parties had never worked for me. In fact, nothing ever worked for me. I was 21 and still a virgin. But everyone still told me, my friends, my parents, my grandmother, for God's sake, that I have to keep getting out there. So I took a deep breath and I went in. Everyone was smiling, laughing, seeming so natural. I stood in the corner for a while, and then I did force myself to amble, not too eager, toward a group that didn't seem too intimidating. Not the pretty people, not the gigglers, just three people chatting. I stood a few feet from them and tried to establish eye contact. I tried one girl, but she didn't notice, or maybe she rejected me. I tried looking at another one, a guy this time, to avoid it looking like I was hitting on a girl, and he held my eye for a moment. I figured that was all I could expect, so I took a step toward the group. That girl was talking about her plans for grad school. And the guy chimed in, "I'm in enough student debt already." I nodded. And the other girl said, "And these days it's degree proliferation. Even a master's degree makes employers yawn." We all smiled, but we knew that wasn't really funny. I looked at the grad school-bound girl, and I asked her, "So, what are you going to study in grad school?" She said, "Oh, computer science, artificial intelligence, where the jobs are." I nodded, but I felt like such a loser. I had taken intro to computer science and didn't understand most of it. I had to cheat my way to a C. So I decided that I better major in something like sociology or media studies. I think they all saw my face drop, so I excused myself and got a drink. Rest of the evening, like at all parties, it didn't go any better for me, so I left early. I was stressed out, and a shower is one of the few places I feel relaxed, so even though I didn't need a shower, I took one. When I got out, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, what is wrong with me? Am I trying too hard? Not hard enough. Should I memorize jokes to tell at the next party? Then I did something I had been scared to do. Look at myself in the mirror, hard. Because my hair was wet, it made clear that my hairline had already started to recede. I took a handheld mirror so I could see the back. A bald spot was already starting to form. Was that the problem? Should I get a toupee? That's stupid. Only idiotic characters on TV wear a toupee. But the idea stayed with me because that was a more doable solution than trying to change my personality or my major to something more impressive than sociology. So I decided to get a consultation. It wouldn't cost anything to get information. Knowledge is power and all that. But where? I searched Yelp. It was 2005 and it had just started. And I saw that the full head already had a dozen reviews, which averaged 4.5 stars. When I got there, the waiting room's walls were covered with before and after pictures. Wow. And the cute receptionist asked if I'd like something to drink while I was waiting. I knew that was just business, but I was starved for female attention, so it felt good. When I got into the consultation room, a handsome guy smiled and said, "Yup, I'm wearing one." "You're Joe, right?" I nodded, and he continued, "It's great that you've come while you still have most of your hair. The change will look natural. People will say you'll look great, well-rested or something." He then asked, "What's the main reason you've come in? Career, self-esteem, romance?" I smiled at the latter, and he said, "Yeah, that's the most common reason, and it works." I knew I was dealing with a master salesman, but I was open to being sold. He pulled out a photo album and said, "Of course we have lots of styles, but there are three that I think would work wonderfully for you." I had heard that in the funeral homes, salespeople always show 3 caskets, enough to give choice, not so many that you're overwhelmed. He asked, "Do any of these call out to you?" I pointed to one, and before I knew it, I had bought a $3,000 hairpiece. I'm not surprised they avoid the word toupee. Whatever you call it, I can't say it turned me into a chick magnet, but within a month I was no longer a virgin. And despite my sociology major, I somehow felt more confident in job interviews, and I did get hired as a community relations specialist for a bank. My job was mainly to address complaints and to hold events like free workshops on financial literacy and on home ownership. Usually we did them at the bank, but for Father's Day we did one as a picnic in a nearby park. It was cool that morning, so I wore a light sweater, but by noon I needed to pull it off. I tried to be careful, but lifting it was enough to push the sides of my hairpiece up so it looked like it had wings. Somebody pointed to me, which made another person take out her camera. She must have sent it to the newspaper. Everyone knows the media likes to do hit pieces on banks. 2 days later, as I'm drinking my morning coffee at home, I opened the newspaper to see that JPEG of me. The headline, "A Phony Banker." I pulled off my hairpiece and stared at my now quite bald self in the mirror. Do I go au naturel? I am terrified to do that. And I am terrified to wear it. What would you do? Anyway, that story is called My Toupee. As usual, this is the kind of story that's in my currently available book called Soloists, short stories of introverts and outsiders facing a dilemma. It's on Amazon. But in any event, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down on this story. And look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.